I bought this cool box and it came with a watch. Yep, that is right. Today I'm going to be talking about the COROS Vertix full review. I've been using this watch now for probably close to a month, 3-4 weeks at least, including a 50K in there. So I've got some really good data to go over with you guys. But it's a good watch. So COROS did send this watch to me to review, but like always, I'm going to give you my full, complete, honest thoughts, no matter what. They don't get to see this video first. Also, check down below in the description, there will be an affiliate link where you can go and purchase this watch. Like I said, it is an affiliate link and it does help support the channel. And you can also take a look in the description. We've got a link to a merchandise store where you can go get a shirt like this one here and laugh at yourself if you have ankle issues like I do. Maybe pick up an UltraTrailSteven hat, a sweatshirt, something like that. So first off, this box is, let's be honest now, I mean, this is a little excessive. It's cool, and unboxing experience is pretty darn neat. I mean, this is a legit full-on like waterproof box. It's got the seal, crazy foam in here. I mean, you could like cut this to make room for something else. You've got your owner's manual, the charging cable, all that in there. But I mean, I can't help but wonder how much of that price of the COROS Vertix goes into this box. So anyway, enough of that. It's pretty cool. You can repurpose it, recycle it, use it for something else. As always, I like to talk about looks. I think this is a really good looking watch. I really like the titanium bezel. It's very sharp looking. The 3-button design, the ruggedness of the watch, it just, it looks good. You know, I like the detail they put into the band and everything. The band is a silicone band. It is pretty stretchable, as you can see there. And it's pretty comfortable. Not gonna lie though, I think the Apex Pro is a little bit more comfortable. I'm not sure what it is, but it just felt a little more comfortable. That's the only way to say it. By the way, if you're liking this video, I would really appreciate if you would give it a thumbs up. It really does help the video a ton and just helps it with YouTube. Helps it get seen more, so more people can see the review. And if you are new and you want to hit subscribe, that would also be much appreciated. And you'll see more videos like this in the future. So just like the other COROS watches I've reviewed, the Apex Pro, full customization is pretty much available throughout this watch. You can customize all your data fields and your activities. You can set up custom structured workouts. Video in the top right corner you can take a look at for that if you're interested. It's got all of that. So this is a 1.2-inch touchscreen always-on display. It's not touchscreen right now. It's only in the activities essentially. So, you know, scrolling between data fields or in your breadcrumb trail navigation, you can use it to scroll around and look at the route further. Which is pretty handy. I'll say that for sure. But along with that display, this is sapphire glass, and this one actually has a diamond-like coating. They call it a DLC. So it's even more scratch resistant than the regular Apex or Apex Pro. I mean, this thing is pretty much indestructible. COROS actually claims that this is the most durable watch on the market, or GPS watch on the market. Like I said, it's titanium bezel, titanium on the back as well, titanium alloy. It's got the sapphire glass, the DLC coating, all of that built in. It gives this watch crazy durability. I mean, this thing has been tested down to like -22 degrees, which is just, that's Fahrenheit, -22 degrees Fahrenheit, which is just crazy. I mean, the operating temperature they say is -4 degrees Fahrenheit up to 140 degrees Fahrenheit. So you can use this thing summiting Everest or you can use it in bad water all over the place, which is pretty cool. With the durability that I mentioned, COROS does also claim that this can go up to 150 meters for diving, like underwater. So if you want to dive, you can do that with this watch up to 150 meters, which is, I've not seen another watch that can go that deep. So that is definitely a big plus to the COROS engineering in this watch. It's very durable, as they say. This is definitely an adventure watch, and that's what COROS markets it as, is their adventure watch. So it is a step above the Apex, you know, so we'll see if it's worth it, if maybe some of the features in this watch are worth that extra price tag, or if maybe you should just get the Apex Pro. I don't know. We'll see. So the watch size, this is basically the same size as the Apex Pro as far as the actual diameter of the watch. That's the same. The difference is the thickness of the watch. This one is a little bit thicker because it does have a little bit better battery life in there. So they got to fit it in there somehow. With that thickness comes a little extra weight too. So let's go ahead and throw it on the scale. See what this weighs with the silicone band. So with the silicone band, it's coming in at 75 grams. That's heavy. I mean, that is definitely heavy. But when wearing the watch, you really don't feel the weight that much. I mean, it definitely is a little bit more cumbersome feeling than, say, the Apex Pro or even the Apex or the Polar Vantage M2. You feel the weight just a little bit. So with the thickness and the weight, they had to do that for that battery. So the battery life is where this watch totally just shines. They say it's going to give you 45 days in standby mode, which is smartwatch mode, so just, no GPS activities. With GPS activity, full everything, it gives you 60 hours. So, I mean, that's more than enough to do a 2-day ultra marathon, further. I mean, this thing will get you through the longest of races, except for some of those stage day and like seriously crazy things. But if you have those serious crazy events, you can turn on Ultramax mode and get up to 150 hours of GPS activity, which is just mind-blowing, really. I mean, that's crazy. So you will sacrifice just a little bit of accuracy with that, but it's still pretty darn good. One note about battery life with this watch and the temperature. So COROS did test this down to negative 22 degrees, and this watch had 21 hours of battery life in full GPS mode at that temperature. So definitely keep that in mind if you're going to go into those super ridiculously cold climates. This watch does feature night mode in activity. So basically what that does is it gives you a always on display so that when it's on your wrist, you can flick it up and see, without having your eyes to adjust too much. It really kind of helps. And it doesn't really use that much battery life either, which is a pretty cool feature. It's also available on the Apex Pro, by the way, just so you know. A couple of other things that the Vertix has that the Apex Pro does as well. The full 24/7 monitoring of the blood oxygen, SpO2 sensors, things like that, altimeter, barometer, a compass, gyroscopes, all of that, the works. Same thing. So with this watch being their outdoor adventure watch, it does the same acclimatization monitoring and warnings if you're doing some high mountaineering things. Like let's say you're at 8,000 feet or above. This watch will tell you essentially when it's safe to proceed higher, which can be helpful if you're doing that kind of thing. I mean, around here, the closest I can get is like 6,600 feet. So we've got medium-sized mountains. I have not been able to test that feature yet, but it probably works pretty well from what I've seen from other people. So for GPS accuracy, let's take a look at the Yamacrawl 50K that I just did like 2 weeks ago now, maybe a week ago. And we can take a look at that and see exactly how it performed. And we'll also take a look at some heart rate data during that same event to see where I had one small issue at the start with the heart rate. Nothing crazy on the GPS file. Everything looks to be following the trail pretty well. This is the only out and back, or not out and back, but the only section that we repeated on the course. And you can see a little bit of sway right there. That looks like I went for a swim at one point, which I did not. But yeah, everything looks okay. Obviously not right on top of each other. Another swim there. But by and large, it's pretty decent GPS track considering this is in the woods. This is not on an open road. A lot of tree cover. And this is the heart rate and altitude of the COROS Vertix on that same Yamacrawl. I left the altitude because I wanted to show you this weird oddity. This is the only time I've had this happen with the watch so far, but at the start of the race, for the first, 16 minutes or so, 17 minutes, it was saying my heart rate was only like 102 to 104, which I know it was not. It was definitely higher than that. I actually had to take the watch off and try to reset the heart rate sensor and then put it back on, and then eventually it ended up catching up, which is odd because it shows 152 where this is all on a downhill. So very odd that it would spike up like that when in fact it was probably more realistically about a 140, 150 the entire time. But after that, it all looks pretty good. We can see the heart rate went up after I climbed, settles a little bit, no crazy spikes here and there. Tried to maintain a decent heart rate, decent pace throughout this race. And I think overall the heart rate sensor is pretty darn accurate. So now let's talk about price. This watch comes in this colorway, the Fire Dragon, at $599. There are other models that are up to $699 and the only thing difference is the color. Like they have the Icebreaker, which I think is more expensive, maybe the Desert Soul, and a couple other ones out there. But basically $599 for this watch, which is $100 more than the Apex Pro. So why would you get this watch, the COROS Vertix, over the Apex Pro? Well, there are 3 things that are different with this watch that the Apex Pro does not have. So if you need really, really long battery life, even more long than the Apex Pro, this watch, it's a little bit longer. Not a whole lot, but a little bit. So you'll get that. It's also more durable. It does go down to lower temperatures, and it has that diamond-like coating on the glass, titanium. it's a more durable watch. So that's another plus. The other thing was just the temperature use. So if you're going to be using this in somewhere where it gets up to 140 degrees, I hope not, but if you are, this watch can do it. Down into the -4 degree range, sure, go run the Arrowhead 135 and see how this thing works. It'd probably do just fine. So that's it. That is the COROS Vertix. Personally, if I had to choose, if money was not an object and I had to choose between the COROS Vertix and the COROS Apex Pro, I would probably get the Apex Pro. I found it more comfortable, has all the features I'll need, and I like the watch. It was a little bit lighter weight. It felt better on my wrist. With that said, though, if you need those at that extra battery life, the more durability of the watch, the temperature differences, then by all means get the Vertix, because it'll do better for you than the Apex Pro. So that's my thoughts. Let me know below. I know a lot of people out there have the Vertix, they've had the Apex Pro. Comment below and let me know your thoughts. I would really be curious to see what you guys think about the watch. So anyway, that's going to do it today. If you want to take a look at the full review of the COROS Apex Pro that I did, it's going to be on this side of your screen. You can click on that and go watch the video. And then over on the right side of your screen will be a playlist of gear reviews where you can go check out the other COROS watches, Polar watches that I've reviewed as well. So take a look at one of those. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.